Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph. Today is March 12th, it's Tuesday, and it's been well over a month since I recorded my last episode. So let me just say thank you if you're coming back after all that time. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video. Show notes will be posted down below with links to all of my places where I have my project pages, both on Rav and on my project blog called My Favorite Day. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. You can always email me at lisa@fibernymphdyeworks.com. Fibernymphdyeworks, if you don't know, is my yarn dyeing business, and that's where you find all the fun yarns and fibers. A lot of it's self-striping. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, yeah, that's that. I also have a membership option here on the YouTube channel. So if you want a little bit of extra content every month and you want to help support what I do here, that would be fantastic. You can check that out down below the video where it says join, and it'll show you what that's all about. Otherwise, you are still welcome to be here, whether you want to join or not. So why haven't you seen me in over a month? Great question. I don't even know where to go into this, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Number one, I am still dealing with the crazy rash / skin thing that decided to happen to my body at the beginning of January. It's over 2 months now. I was just at the dermatologist again today, so we're trying a whole new batch of creams and ointments and things to hopefully get rid of it. Already did the course of prednisone, and that helped while I was on it. As soon as I was off of it, it came back. So he still has no idea what's causing it. He said it's probably just my system being hypersensitive, yay autoimmune issues, essentially. So hopefully that will run its course and go away like so many other weird things that I've had in my life have done. So that's been one thing, because honestly, if you're just itching all day, it really started messing with my mental health. Like, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wanted to do nothing. I wanted to just curl up and die. DYE, in case you want to know. Yeah, it was pretty miserable, and it's getting a little better. The last couple days, knock on wood, have not been too bad. So fingers crossed that we're on the upswing. Anyway, there was that going on, and it was really hard for me to pretend like I was in a good mood. And when I'm here recording for you, I don't want to just be, I want to be in a good mood, legitimately, so rather than faking it. So there's been that. But the other thing, and actually the more important reason why I haven't recorded, is my phone was dying quickly. Like, I knew it was on the verge of needing to be replaced. It was about 3 years old, so it was at that point, but it would not hold a charge anymore. Like, I could not use it without the charger plugged in for more than maybe a half hour if I was lucky. And then finally it got to the point where even if it was plugged into a charger, which is what I almost always had it plugged in when I was recording, even with it plugged in, if I was doing anything at all on it while it was plugged in, you could just watch the battery percentage drop 1% by 1% by 1% the whole time. So it was basically not a functional device for me anymore. And I did not want to pay stupid money for a new phone. And I also did not want to play Verizon's game of, here, get the phone for free if you add a new line. We did that one time with my son's phone and realized that was not a deal, because then you're paying for an extra line that you're not using. So I just held off as long as I could. But I finally got a new phone. So I am recording on a new phone. This is actually the first time I've recorded any video on it. So fingers crossed there's nothing that I don't know about that's going to make this difficult in processing or anything. It feels like the screen is very much wider. And I know the camera is different on this one than my old one. I just don't know dimensionally if that's, I don't know. I'll figure it out. It'll be fine. At least I know the battery's not going to die on me in 3 minutes. So there's that. I'm also using a new tripod. I got a fancy new tripod that has all kind of adjustments. It even has like a built-in level on it. I bought it so I could do like flat lay videos, like where you're looking down, and like if I could do a book review or something like that, or technique videos. That's why I bought it. So I have more latitude in the kind of videos that I can do. But this is actually the first time I'm using it to record anything as well. So all kinds of new things happening here. Yeah, so that's where I've been. That's what's going on. Let me see what else I have as far as announcements. My husband did come back from his trip. I think the last time I recorded, he had just left for like a 2.5-week trip in the Everglades. He did survive. He had a great time. He actually came home a day early, not for anything bad. It was just he was able to get through the whole trip one day early. So anyway, anything else? What am I wearing? I'm not wearing, that's not true. I have hand knit socks on, but no other knitwear. Why? See rash. I cannot wear anything that has the slightest bit of any kind of like real texture. Even this tank top I'm wearing, it doesn't have a tag in the back, but it has, you know, where they just print the tag information on the fabric with whatever they use with that fabric, paint of some kind. I don't know. One day I bought several of these because they're really, really soft tank tops. And I couldn't figure out what felt like it was stabbing me in the back repeatedly. And it was that printed stuff on this. That is how sensitive my skin has been lately. And this hoodie is so nice and soft inside. I live in this hoodie and a tank top lately because that is what my skin wants. The thought of putting wool anywhere on my body where it's going to touch my skin just immediately makes me itch just thinking about it. I have still been able to sleep with like with my corner to corner blanket on the bed. That's been okay, but as soon as I start to get the least bit hot, that also kicks in the itch impulse. So I just have to be careful. So right now, haven't really been wearing wool, unfortunately, but it's also starting to get more springy, so maybe I won't be feeling sad about that. Okay, what else? The Cordsmith drawing that I did last time. Did I bring it? Oh, here, hang on just a sec. I'm going to go grab it. Okay. The Cordsmith, remember to make the I-cord that I showed last time? I showed it the time before. I did the drawing. I announced the winner of the drawing on the last episode. Nobody got back to me. The winner did not reply to me. So if you were that winner, please, or if you like entered for that to win a Cordsmith, the greenish one that I have, the second one, please go back and just watch the beginning of the last episode because I did announce the winner pretty close to the beginning. So watch that. If I do not hear from that first winner by the time I record the next regular episode, I will do a new winner. I will draw a new winner. So, because I would really like to get that second Cordsmith out to you. Okay, so there was that. Oh, the other thing I want to say is thank you so very, very much if you ordered one of my Dream Big colorways that I was offering through the month of February as a fundraiser for the Fearless Living Fund. I was able to donate $250 to that fund that benefits the Blind Center of Nevada. So thank you so very much. That is the Fearless Living Fund is a fund that was started in honor of Diane, couldn't get the first name, Diane Lassonde, who is Jennifer Lassonde's mother. Jen is the one who does the Down Cellar Studio podcast. So thank you very, very much for making that possible. I had some items left over and I made the donation for those items as well because I'm going to take those items to my shows in the spring. So hopefully they'll sell. But the donation has been made. Okay, in some shop news that I'm going to just put here at the top of the episode, I will mention it again in the shop segment, but I did just put up pre-orders for the 2 latest Middle-earth Imagined colorways, which are Chiefest of Calamities, which is my Smog the Dragon colorway, and Durin's Bane, which is the Balrog of Moria colorway. So those 2 colorways are in the shop. They're up for pre-order. You can read the listing to see all the details, but they're available as self-striping. I've got mini skein sets, and I have fiber options, braids, and spinning sets. So those are all in there. I don't really have a time frame that I'm going to take those down. I'll leave them up as long as there's interest. And possibly longer. I'm working on reconfiguring the shop. I may have said that before. It's a long process because it's only me working on it. Takes me a while. But I'm working on a way to have more like dye-to-order items up just all the time, to make things easier for people to get whenever they're able to. So anyway, but those are in the shop now. If you like those colorways, feel free to hop over there and place an order. The other two things that will be going up into the shop again, they were in the shop for 1 week a couple weeks ago, are my 2024 Pi Day colorways. If you're on my newsletter, you would have heard about that, or if you're following me on social media, since I obviously did not get to record about it. But the colorways are Kitty Pie and Puppy Pie. So we're honoring our furry friends for Pi Day this year. Pi Day is on Friday, which is 3.14, March 14th. Anyway, I also have these two colorways up as self-striping, mini skeins, and fiber options, braids and spinning sets. So you can see all of that stuff in there. I also have stitch marker sets for both of them. And it's a set of 8 ring markers, little beaded ring markers, but I also have progress keepers for each of them that are these, I don't know how, let's see how this does with autofocus. Are you gonna focus? I don't know. I don't know how well you can see that. It says, I heart dog. Does I heart my dog? I hope it says I heart. Yeah, heart my dog. That's what it says. And then on the other side is a little puppy footprint on the heart. Can you see that? There we go. So I have them for dogs, and then the kitty ones are basically the same. The kitty's hearts are just a teensy bit smaller, but it's the same thing. It says, I heart cat, or heart my cat. Sorry, getting that wrong. And then there's a little kitty print on the other side. I honestly don't know which side. I just tried to show you. But progress keepers and 8 ring markers are in those listings as well. So those will be up in the shop again starting on Friday, which is Pi Day. Additionally, I'm going to put up probably 4 other past Pi Day colorways, or past Pi Day collection colorways, because I don't always just come out with them in March. I come out with them throughout the year. Anyway, so they'll be up there for dye-to-order status. These are dye-to-order. The Middle Earth Imagine colorways are pre-order. There is a difference, and I know it might be confusing. Pre-orders is when I'm coming out. You know what? I'm not going to go into that right now, because I plan to do a whole video giving you the down low about how I am organizing the shop coming up. It's not there yet, so just read the listings. But there is a difference between pre-order and dye-to-order. That just know that. It's not a great big difference, but there is a difference. So let's just leave it at that for right now. Okay, so if you want to know more, you can always email me. I'd be happy to tell you. All right, best thing, be on the newsletter. Subscribe to my newsletter. You'll get it. You'll know when things are coming into the shop. All right, I think that's plenty of chitter chatter here at the beginning, because I think we're almost 15 minutes in. I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay, let's move on with the crafting. I will say right up front, I feel like I just didn't get a lot of crafting done, even though it's been over a month. But that's not true. I did get more done than I thought I did. I think it was just that I just didn't feel like crafting a whole lot. I'm also realizing I'm totally looking at the wrong spot on my camera, my phone, because the camera is in a different spot on this phone than it was on my old phone. So I'm sorry if I'm looking at a weird place. Anyway, yeah, I didn't feel like I was wanting to craft. So that's probably why I feel like I didn't get a lot done, but I did get things done. And the first thing I did finish, you saw these in progress last time, and that was my Shortie Frankensocks for myself. So I did do these. These are fingering weight socks. I used just a whole bunch of random leftovers of self-striping colorways. I did these on US 1s, which is my usual fingering weight sock needle, 2x1 rib, heel flap, gusset, just normal socks in my Shortie sock format. I really need more Shortie socks. Some of my Shortie socks are looking horrible, like I need to throw them away. I've been wearing them to death for years. So anyway, I was really glad to have those done. Not really much else to tell you about those. I was going to start a set for my daughter as well. I told her I'd make her a pair, and indeed I did start them. And then as soon as I started them, I realized the first little leftover ball I grabbed was not a stripy yarn. It was a variegated, and I don't even remember what I dyed it for because it was kind of odd. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll like it as I get it. No, I knit like 1.5 inches of it. I'm like, I don't like this. I'm not enthused about this. So I ripped it out. I haven't started another pair of socks for her yet. But I'm gonna. It may not be a scrappy set at this point. I don't know. She's happy with whatever socks I make for her. She's very knit-worthy in that way. But anyway, those are finished. Really glad to have those. And now I can wear them because I showed them to you. I finished those like shortly after I recorded last time. So I've been waiting to wear those since then. What else have I finished? Oh my gosh, finally, I finished my weaving project that had been on my 24-inch shacked rigid heddle, not shacked, Ashford rigid heddle loom since last May. And I had a plan for it. Went off the rails really early on and then sat there and I didn't really do much with it. So I finally got back to it. Actually, I started back working on this while Bill was away. I got back to it because my son Chris came up while he was away one night, and we had one day. We had a big Lord of the Rings watching day. We got through 2 of the movies. We didn't get through the 3rd. But I basically sat there and just wove on this the whole time. Now, here's the first part. Okay, so this is what I started on, and this is some Wonderland yarns, which there was a variegated colorway that I warped with. So it was this really variegated speckly color yarn. It was really pretty, and that's what I used as my warp. And then I had a mini skein. It's generous. They were very generous mini skeins. I think they were like 160 yards each, maybe. I don't know. They were big mini skeins. Anyway, there was, I think, 5 of those, and I had divided those in half, had them in balls, and I had a patterning thing I was going to do. However, my warp, this is fingering weight yarn, and the heddle I used was it was a bigger heddle than you would usually use with fingering weight, and my thought process on that was to have a very drapey fabric, which indeed it is, but I was having trouble keeping the weft even in it. So it didn't go super well. It was okay, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I just decided to play with it. I was around here, I think. I was only here at that point, and so I started on another color, and then I just started playing. Like I did stripes. It's funny, that kind of looks like a plaid in the camera. So I just started changing colors and doing my own thing. And I kind of like it. Here, I really went kind of nuts, and I was trying to do, I honestly don't know what I was trying to do, but I was using like a pickup stick, and it wasn't working the way I thought it should. I still don't understand the concept of pickup sticks. I really need to learn that. Yeah, so I just went back to doing plain weave. And then I got to the end of all those minis. Here, this was the last mini, but I still had weft, and I didn't really want to cut it off. I hate wasting, warp. I had warp left, and I hate wasting warp, so I wanted to weave as much as I could. So I just went into my stash and pulled out some other colors, and I really liked what I did. I love this technique. This is the clasped weft weaving technique. I love doing that. It's such a cool effect. So anyway, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this fabric. Clearly I have a lot. I did measure it. I don't remember. It's close to, oh sorry, I didn't mean to put that right in your face. Camera's right there. It's close to 8 feet long. It hasn't been soaked yet, so I'm sure it will kind of snug up a little bit. I don't know. I may try making like bags with it or something, or pillows. I don't know. But at least it's off the loom and after all that time. So I'm glad to have at least finished it. That felt really good. I don't think there's anything else to tell you about that. The other thing I finished was the spinning project that I had going. And you might remember, and I don't know if I have a picture. If I do, I will put it in here, of my 3 fibers. I meant to take a picture of them before I started the project, but I don't think I did. I don't remember. Anyway, I had 3 braids left over from last July, because I had pulled out a whole bunch of fibernymphdyeworks fiber, so fiber I have dyed over the years that was in my stash, and I was going to spin all these braids up last summer for Tour de Fleece. Well, I got through a couple of them, I think, but I did work through the rest of them all through the year like from that point on in the year. And so the last 3 I had were all about 3 ounces. One of them was my Never Not colorway, which was my anniversary colorway back in, I don't even remember what year. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, I had that, which was a really bright colored variegated braid. And then I had a set that was, one was a gradient of this bright pink into orange into gold. And then the other one that went with that was just blue. Actually, these 2 minis, these were the leftovers from those 2. So that gives you a sense of what those 2 colors looked like. Okay. So my plan was I was going to spin each of these separately, separate bobbins, and I had to do them half and half because I was using my Ashford Traveler wheel. So I did the first half of each of those colors on separate bobbins, plied them, and then I did the other half on those same bobbins and plied them. That way I did not have to seek out other bobbins because there was no reason to. I was just doing it. You know, I knew it wasn't gonna, it was fine. It was fine that way. Anyway, so here is my finished yarn. Having those all plied together. Aren't they pretty? Oh my goodness. They are just so springy looking. I'm so happy with this yarn. These have also not been soaked yet, so I don't know what my final yardage is. Based on how much I usually lose in length after my yarn soaks, I usually lose about 10% of what my original yardage was. These should come in somewhere around 580-ish yards finished. And I would say, I forget what it was. I'll have to do the math to figure it out. I'm going to say it's probably a heavy sport weight, light fingering weight. That's my guess. But anyway, really happy with that. Super happy to have that off the wheel. And I feel really good about having gotten all that fiber spun because it had filled a basket at the beginning of July, and that was a pretty good accomplishment. So yay me. You take your wins where you can get them. So since I finished that one, you realize when you finish one spinning project, you have to start another. And I'm just going to pop this in here. I do have some other things I'm working on, but since we're talking about spinning, I needed something to work on out here in our dining room at the table. And I didn't have anything that I was knitting on at the time that I could work on at the table. So the other morning I went in and just pulled something out. And oh, the other thing I did while Bill was away on his trip is I went through all of my stash yarn. It was a big project, and I was in the process of cleaning off all these shelves in our office and organizing, which was another big project, but it was kind of the 2 big projects hand in hand. So I just went through all the stash. So I know what I have and I know what I want to use, and that I never ever needed to buy yarn or fiber ever again in my life. But you know how that goes too. Anyway, like I have a lot of fiber in my stash, and some of it has been there for quite some time, like a long time. So my loose goal at this point, since I finished doing all this fibernymphdyeworks fiber, not that that's all of my fibernymphdyeworks fiber, trust me, I still have more, but it's newer. I would like to start spinning through some of my oldest fiber stash. But I have a lot in like sweater quantity, and I didn't want to dive right into another big spinning project, so I pulled out a loop bullseye bump, which I don't have a picture of, and I didn't bring it in here because I just started it. I will try to take a picture and insert it here. But this is a really pretty one. It's called Pink Panther, but it's all black and pinks. And this was, if you've followed Loop over the years, you know the Bullseye bumps, hang on a sec. The Bullseye bumps, you know, always start with one, they're center pull, just like center pull, like pencil roving almost. It's probably not pencil roving, but that's how thin it is. And you center pull it, and it went from one color to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It was just a big progression. And then she started doing ones where they kind of repeated, so you could like almost spin like a self-striping kind of thing. This one's more like that, although I don't think the colors totally repeat, but there are different pinks throughout, and they're divided with blacks. The only thing that's on the wheel right now on the bobbin is black, the first black section. So it's not super exciting to see, but it's a really fun colorway. And I've had that bat or Bullseye bump in my stash for quite some time, because I think I bought it either at Rhinebeck or Maryland, because she does vend, or she used to vend at both of those. So I'm pretty sure I got that one at her booth. And it's been years since I have shopped at her booth in either of those places. So it's definitely a pre-pandemic purchase, probably even a couple of years prior to that. So it qualifies as old stash, well-marinated stash. So that's one. And Bullseye bumps are always such a quick spin for me. I feel I don't worry about doing them super perfectly. Sometimes I just leave them as a single and try to like fool them a little bit, felt them a little bit when I'm rinsing them, or I may chain ply it so I get the nice gradient effect. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it, but it's coming along. So that is what I'm working on the wheel right now. Another thing I'm working on. Let's move on to the workings on. So I had showed you that I had finished my corner to corner blanket that I had started, you know, and worked on all through December, and finally finished, I believe, in January, maybe the beginning of February. I don't remember. I'm working on another blanket. This is not brand new. This is one that I started last year. And actually when I started it, it was not intended to be a blanket. It had no intention. I just wanted to crochet granny squares out of my scraps of DK and worsted weight yarn. Do you remember this when I was going through just this crazy obsession? I think that's what my project name even is Granny Square, Crazy Granny Square Obsession or something. Well, as I was cleaning off the shelves in the storage room, my yarn room / Bill's office, I came upon this project bag. Isn't it cute? It's a fat squirrel bag. I came across this bag and opened it and found all those squares. I'm like, what am I doing? So I took them in my bedroom and I laid them all out on the bed because I wanted to see how many I had. And I was one short for having a layout of 12 rows of 9 squares. And I thought, you know what? I can do one more and then I will have enough to do like a lap blanket. Like if I do another, you know, border around one square or around each square, like the same color around all of the squares, and then join them, I think that'd make a decent size lap blanket. And so that is what I have been doing. And something about these are just very addicting because that's basically what I want to do now. So here's, okay, I don't know why I stopped in the middle of this. I must have just been super tired or something because I've been working on this a lot at bedtime. So I'm using Mountain Tweed Merino DK. I happen to have 4 balls of this balled up in my stash. Another thing I found when I was cleaning out my, rearranging my stash. Because I didn't know what I was going to use for the border. I figured I'm going to have to dye something. But no, I had 4 balls of this, and I think that's going to be just the right amount to do this blanket. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing the last round in this, and then I'm joining as I go to the blanket, the lap blanket. So here's what I have so far. So let's see. This is, which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, okay. So this will be the width. This way. So that's definitely wide enough to have as a lap blanket or just even a single person blankie, right? And so here's what it looks like so far. I'm having so much fun with it. Now, the funny thing though, and I had no plan for how I was going to lay these out. And I maybe should have made a plan because I have a ton of this neutral color. I have a ton of this color. I have a ton of, where is it? For as many as I have, I should be able to find it really easily because it should be about every other square, frankly. See, that's terrible that I don't have that many of them. Oh, this one. Lots and lots of that, lots of that, lots of that. And then I do have a good number of just blue squares, different blues. And then I have others that are obviously like a bunch of different colors put together. Some of those were from self-striping yarns. But I have a lot of those three ones that I first pointed out. And I feel like because I'm 7 rows into this, so I only have 5 more rows to go. And I feel like the end of the blanket is maybe going to be much heavier in those 3 squares than the first 7 were. It doesn't really matter. And honestly, what I could do, could I? I don't know. I don't know what I could do. I'm not super worried about it, but I realized the other night, because as I was pulling them out one by one, trying to, oh yeah, that'll look nice next. Okay, I was pulling out like the same squares one after another. I can't believe how many of these I have. So I do need to like be a little bit better at spacing them out, such as I can. I do still need to make my final square, but this has just been another really rewarding project. Almost as rewarding as my corner to corner blanket was to work on. I don't know what it is about crochet lately. I have been in such a crochet place, but I'm not questioning it because I'm enjoying it. So that is my obsession blanket. We'll just call it that. Why not? So that has been worked on a lot. Yeah, honestly, that is the main thing I've been working on, to tell you the truth. Okay, blanket spinning project. Did I put something else in here? Oh, okay. I do have one other project I'm working on. However, this is a mystery knit along. So if you are doing the Lisa Ross line dance knit along, mystery knit along, and you haven't finished your first clue yet, you want to look away and jump ahead to the next segment. I will try to put the time down here so you know where to jump, or you can look in the show notes because I always put timestamps in the show notes too. But I'm going to show you because I am working on this and I did finish clue 1. So I'm going to show that. So if you don't want to be spoiled, jump ahead now. Otherwise, feel free to watch. Are you ready? I'm still looking at the wrong place on my phone. That is not where the camera is. The camera is up there. I'll get this, honest. Okay, here, I'm going to show this to you. So this is the line dance make-along. It is for a cowl. I have no idea why I decided to do this. Now, I love Lisa Ross. I've met her. She's very, very sweet. And I don't know if I've done any of her patterns before, to tell you the truth. I have several of them in my library. But I saw her advertising that she was doing a mystery knit along for a cowl, and I was like, of course I want to do that. Now, you know me, probably, if you've been watching for any amount of time. I'm not great with mystery knit alongs. I'm not great with knit alongs in general. I don't keep up with them a lot of times. Last fall, I did do the one for Telly Bean Knits, her haunted house make along, mystery knit along. I did finish that. That's the first one I've finished in a very, very long time. So, and that one I think I only finished because I was doing it along with a friend. And so I had the motivation to keep going. This one I was just doing it myself. Now, a couple of my friends have started doing it since then. But like I decided to do this myself. And it wasn't until the day before it was starting that I even remembered that I had signed up to do it, that I bought the pattern. Because I basically bought the pattern and then totally forgot about it. And then I was watching another podcast, Stitch in Time with Carol, and she was talking about the fact that she was going to be doing this knit along. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this too. So I thought, oh, I need to go find yarn for it. So I decided I wanted to do the whole thing out of yarn that I had on hand. Again, having just gone through my stash, I knew what I had, and I wanted to not I didn't want to dye yarn for it. I didn't really want to break into full skeins for it. I could have. There was no problem with that. But like I had a lot of large leftovers in semi-solid colors, especially in tweed. Whoops, just showed it to you. And so that's what I wanted to use. So that is what I'm using. These are my 5 colors. And the way she has you line them up, so this is my color 1, which is supposed to be a dark color. And then your color 2 is a light color that goes well with your dark color. So that is my color 2. So this is my Merlot color. This is Perfect Mauve. So it's a very light pink. And then your color 3 is supposed to be a dark neutral, which I am using Soft Black. I just have them in baggies because I'm using a lot of small balls, as you can see. Color 4 is a light neutral, so I'm just using undyed, my plain vanilla. And then your color C, or color 3 is supposed to be a brighter mid-tone that can go with everything else. So I'm using Warm Honey. So those are my 5 colors. The first clue actually came out a day early, which was sort of nice. Not that it mattered, but you know, it was nice that it came out early. I'm wondering if all of the clues will come out a day early. I know she's done that in the past too. The first clue used 4 of the colors. The only one it didn't use was the dark neutral. So here's what I've got so far. It's going to be a bandana style cowl. That's all I know. And having, again, not knit any of her patterns before, I really don't know how she's prone to construct things. So it'll be a mystery. Hence mystery. So this is what I have so far. So again, my main color is this color 1 so far. And then the first contrast color was the mauve, that light mauve. And then my neutral, my light neutral, so the plain vanilla. And then color 3, which was Warm Honey. The rows that you're doing in these colors were in a pattern stitch called Garland Increases. And I'm not going to lie, going through them the very first time, I thought, I don't like this. I'm not enjoying this. The knitting them on the right side wasn't a big deal, but when you had to do them on the wrong side and you're knitting 3 together, that includes a yarn over, it was really fidgety and fussy, and I was using my plain Haya steel needles, which aren't the sharpest tips, and it was very difficult, and I was having a lot of trouble and was not having fun at that point. I'm like, do I want to keep doing this? Knowing that there were 2 more sections to come of those. And so I got to this next section and I did it again. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I was talking to my one friend and she's like, you need sharper needles. And I don't have a lot of sharp needles in my stash because I don't enjoy using sharp needles. I usually puncture my finger when I use sharp needles. But I did look, and I did happen to have a pair of Chai-Gus. That's what's actually in here right now. The red cable Chai-Gu lace needles. Very pointy. And between using those and purposely knitting those stitches very loosely, like as loose as I could, and maintaining that looseness and not pulling on it, I was able to work through the rest of those rounds with a little less angst. So this section's done now, and I'm really hoping that this stitch pattern does not show up again in this project. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. I can't say that I'm super stoked about this at this point. Like, it's fine. I really wanted, oh no, don't lose stitches. Oh gosh, hang on. I really wanted to have used blues instead of this Merlot and the mauve, but I didn't have enough leftovers in any of my blues yardage wise, so I had to default to these colors, which are fine. These are some colors I really love, especially this Merlot color. I just feel like I've used it a lot in the past and it feels like I guess I'm using it again, but whatever, it's fine. I'll be interested to see where Clue 2 takes us. Maybe I'll like it more as it goes along, but I really don't want to do this stitch pattern again. Just saying. So anyway, Oh, and this bag, isn't this bag awesome? This is a Tanny Casey bag that I haven't used in a long time. That's the other thing. As I was going through all that stuff in my yarn room area, came across a lot of project bags that had just been stashed away. So pulled some of them out. Because isn't that a pretty springy bag? I think so. Okay, so there's that. And I think that's it. I think that's all I'm really working on. I have other projects on the horizon, but like nothing that I'm actively working on. What I am definitely not working on is my Ariana cardigan. Not because I don't want to see it done, and I really did want to get it done by the end of March because of the knit along in the Stitch in Time podcast, which is sweater weather for the first 3 months. But honestly, that area I'm using, the yarn that I'm using, sorry, words, the Swans Island yarn, it's beautiful yarn. I love it. It's a very woolly wool though, and it's prickly. And I have never had trouble wearing prickly yarn. Like, I can wear Icelandic wool against my skin and have no problem. I can wear mohair usually against my skin and have no problem. However, the day I wore my my Love Note, which has the mohair held with the fingering weight, that was the first day that this rash kicked up. That was what kicked it off, I thought. And ever since then, any day that I have tried putting a sweater on, if it's touching my skin anywhere, it's a no-go. And the thought of working on that sweater, now knitting has not bothered me. Like, it's not bothering my hands to work with wool, thankfully. Goodness, that would be terrible. But I'm not excited about finishing it right now because I know I can't wear it. And I even bought some like long sleeved, like base layer kind of tops to try to wear underneath sweaters. And that did help a little bit, but it also made me too hot. And as soon as I start to get hot, then the itching flares up. And it activates whatever's going on in my skin. So I'm not excited about finishing that sweater right now, and I'm not going to make myself work on it while I'm not excited about it. That just doesn't seem like a good idea. So it'll be there. Eventually I'll finish it, but I'm probably not going to have a finished sweater for the January to March make along in Carol's group. But that's okay. So anyway, I have, however, been working on some pattern samples because I've got a couple of patterns. One is one that I've had out in the past, and I'm rewriting it to have multiple sizes available, and that is my Call Before Digging hat. Here, I'll try it on for you. My hair is a little crazy today anyway, so it's not a big deal. Let's see, how do I want to put it on? So it's got this, I don't know how, what, see, I can see it much better in person than you can see it on the, on this TV, I was going to say, on the camera. There we go. So there's this cable that goes up, and it's got this fun little kind of pointy point up at the top, and a ribbed body around the rest of it. I wrote this pattern years ago, but it was for only one size, and I would like to, you know, expand it so that it has multiple sizes for small people, bigger heads. So hopefully that'll be coming out within the next couple of months. So that's Call Before Digging. And the yarn I used is just one of my Serendipity skeins, which turned out really cool. I kind of like the striping pattern that it turned into. That wasn't an intentional thing, because again, Serendipity skein of my cozy worsted weight base. So that's one pattern. The other pattern is one that goes with another pattern I've written a long time ago, my Flurry Cow. I wrote that several years ago, and I used to do kits for it for shows and in the shop. I may do them again this year, but I'm also doing I wanted to do Flurry Hats, which I've always wanted to do, and I've just never written it. So here's one. Oh boy, that's blown out. Here is a Flurry Hat, and this is in DK. So this is my Bonafide DK base in soft black and fuchsia, which again, the fuchsia is very much blown out. It's a little brighter than that. But this was the first one I did. This is definitely a little too small for me. So this would probably be more, I would say like a large child size. Yeah, you can see it doesn't even come down over my ears. So I'm going to say this is probably more of a large child size. So then the second one I did, which I realized I've never woven in my ends yet. This is, I don't remember which blue this is. I think this is a new dye I got that they're calling peacock. This does not look like peacock to me. I will have to modify it if I want it to be a peacock color. It's more of a denim color, but I have a denim dye, so I don't know. Anyway, it's blue and wisp, so that's what I used for this one. And this one is definitely much more like, not a large adult. I mean, you could probably stretch it to be a large adult. I would say a medium / large. I don't know. I haven't done the sizing yet. I was just doing the samples, but yeah, I really like how it turned out. And it, you know, it'll go with the cowl if you want to wear it with the cowl, or you can just do whatever you want. Wear it by itself. Anyway, I am going to be needing test knitters for both of these hats at some point. I'm not ready for them now, but if you're interested in test knitting either of these hats, feel free to email me at lisa@fibernymphdyeworks.com and let me know, and I will put you on my list to contact once I'm ready to have the hats test knit. It may be a few weeks yet, but you know, if you want to be on the list, please let me know and I will add you to the list and get the pattern out to you once it's ready to go. So that's going on. We're going to move on to the project pool now. The 2024 project pool make along. I have prizes because I'm doing prizes every 2 months now, so I have January and February prize winners to announce. So if you participated in the chatter thread on Ravelry, the finished objects thread on Ravelry, or using the Instagram hashtag in either January or February, you are eligible for a prize. So let me show you the prize options. I actually have 5 prize options. Usually I make sure I have one more than the prize winners, but this time I have 5 prizes, so everybody should be able to get what they want. And they are all serendipity skeins. I've been having so much fun with serendipity skeins. So all of them except this green one are on my cozy worsted weight base. And the green one is on my beguiled DK weight base, so it's the one with sparkles in it. It's sparkles. Okay, so there's this bright colored springy skein, which I think I have 2 of these technically. There's this purpley pink, neutral, and blue kind of skein. Then there's this one, which is mostly blues, like muted blues and purples and neutrals, whites. This one is sort of blackish brown and neutrals. And then the green one is greens. Mostly greens. There's a couple of areas that are sort of overwashed in sort of a brownish gray. So there are some darker spots in it. But those are the 5 colorways. And this one, and this one, I'm fairly certain I have 2 of each of those. So if more than one of you wants one, then I can give it to you. But anyway, each of the winners, please email me, lisa@fibernymphdyeworks.com. Let me know you won and send me your mailing information as well as your top 3 yarns that you like, that you would like for your prize. Okay, so first up, chatter post, or the chatter winner. We had, I did not write down how many chatter posts we had. We had a lot. There were a lot of chatter posts. Sorry. I'm out of practice. But anyway, random number generator chose post number 210 from the chatter thread, and that is What's Up One, who is Peg from Georgia. So congratulations, Peg. You are our first winner. From the finished object thread, again, I did not write down how many we had, but again, I think there were over 100 finished objects in the first 2 months. And random number generator chose post number 95, who was Leaner, and that is Eileen from Ohio, and she knit this super cute sock puppet. Actually, she did 2 of them, but that was one of them. I was super shocked that it wasn't one of her emotional support chickens. Eileen has knit an entire flock of emotional support chickens, and they're amazing. Go to her Ravelry page. I hope she has them in her project pages because they're amazing. Or I think she posted a picture of the whole flock in the chatter thread. So if you're on Ravelry, go through that and check it out because they are so cute. I still need to make one of those for myself. Anyway, so congratulations, Eileen. And then on Instagram, which is always still weird, there were 39 posts that came up with the hashtag. And so random number generator chose number 14. So I just counted down 14 posts in the feed when I put that hashtag in, and that was Sarah, who's PA Knitwit, or actually it was PA Knitwit, who is Sarah from Pennsylvania. And so congratulations. And all three of you, again, please email me, lisa@fibernymphdyeworks.com, and give me all that pertinent information, and I will get your prize skein out to you. I did manage to finish 2 more things on my project pool list, which was the weaving that I showed you, finally, and the spinning project. Those were both on my list, so those are crossed off. So that's 7 for the year, which isn't bad. I feel like I'm not working on anything right now that's specifically on my list other than working with stash yarn and leftovers. So yeah, I'll get back to it. I did do some more new recipes. That's one of the things on my list too. Emma and I actually played with a whole lot of recipes while Bill was away. I think our favorite from that was a smoked salmon flatbread. That was so good. But I didn't have one specific recipe I was following. There was actually multiple recipes that we kind of morphed together to make that, but yum. So I think that works out to about 11 recipes in 10 weeks. So about 1 a week. I've definitely slowed down since Bill got home, and also just because I haven't felt good between the itch, just the skin thing. It's amazing that your skin feeling crappy can make you feel just so, it can affect you in so many ways. It has made me just not want to cook or eat for that matter, which is weird. Anyway, I'm sorry I keep bringing it up. I know. All right, let's move on. Shop again. The Smog colorway and my Balrog colorway. Chiefest of Calamities and Durin's Bane. Here they are. Those are in the shop right now for pre-order in all their forms. The Pie Day colorways will be back in the shop on Friday. The original round of pre-orders I have done. Some of them have shipped already. The rest of them will be shipping out tomorrow. And unless you ordered something else with yours that isn't ready to ship out yet, like if you ordered a pre-order of something else that's a longer turnaround, then it may not go out yet. But anyway, I was trying to get that first round of pre-orders out prior to Pie Day, which was my promise, before I listed them again. But they will be up on Friday along with some other pie colorways. What else? My anniversary colorway. I'm so excited about my anniversary colorway. I'm working on the sample right now. That will be coming before the end of this month, so stay tuned for that. And just to give you the heads up, my 2024 holiday countdown collections will be up for ordering, pre-orders obviously, by April 1st. I will be leaving those up through at least June 15th, just like I did last year. So there's no rush to order them. If you need some time to like save up for them or whatever, I totally understand. That's why I want to be able to leave them up at least that long. But you can be looking for those. I'm really excited about, every year I'm excited about it. I always say that. But after having done, the Middle Earth one last year, which was such a specific niche kind of adventure that we did, I'm doing something much broader this year, but with a specific focus. I'm calling it the magic of color. That's going to be the topic. So it's going to be a wonderful exploration of color, sort of an adventure in and of itself. but it should appeal to a much broader audience. You don't have to be a Lord of the Rings fan to appreciate this one. You just have to love color and love playing with it and enjoy the magic of it, because let's face it, colors are magical. So anyway, but more about that to come. Lastly, I think I've filled you in on most of the life stuff, or maybe I didn't. I did visit my mom in Florida for a long weekend in February, which was wonderful. It was so nice to see her. February is not a pool conducive month, but it was still nice to be down there in the sunshine and spend time with my mom. While I was away, however, Bill and Emma were here, and there was a chimney fire. I was getting blow-by-blow texts that Saturday night. My first text was like, from Bill, chimney fire, all's fine now. That was it. I'm like, and then he sends me a picture of it. It looks like the 4th of July, like outside our house with the, like, all's fine now. I think you need to tell me some more. And then a little while later, he's like, all is not fine. There's something going on. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. My mother's freaking out. And Emma at that point takes over the texting and telling me what's going on. She's like, he's dumping water down through the walls and in things. There's water running down the inside of the wall of the house. We live in a log home, so it's not like a frame house where there's like, you know, outer wall, insulation, inner wall. There's not that. It's just log. So there's like the fireplace and then log, you know. Apparently they were up pretty much all night because he didn't want to go to sleep until he was absolutely certain there was nothing smoldering anywhere, which thankfully there was not. But there was a lot going on. And I was really glad I was not home for that. I think I would have been... Anyway, it has since been taken care of. He's installed a chimney liner, so we should not have that problem again, hopefully. But, you know, the house was built back in the early 70s. Chimneys don't last forever. So anyway, yeah, that was the excitement. So I'm going away this coming weekend to visit my grandson down in North Carolina, and hopefully nothing else catches fire while I'm gone. That's all I can say. But I'm looking forward to seeing my grandson. And like I said, the weather's starting to get nice out. It's sunny today. It's still quite chilly. But it's nice, and things are starting to bloom, like the trees are starting to bud. Like I can look out there and see that green fuzziness just on the very tips of a lot of the branches. It's so exciting. So glad to see that happening. Lots of other stuff going on around here. There always is. That's what happens when your husband retires. He suddenly decides all kinds of big projects are going to go on. At least that's what happens when my husband retires, apparently. So I'll share them with you as they seem applicable to share. But for right now, I'm going to go. I hope it will not take me another month to record another episode. That's my goal anyway, to not have it be that long now that I have a nice new camera to use. Hope you guys are all doing well, and I will talk to you again soon. Again, if you're a winner, please email me. You're all winners. You're all winners in life. Trust me. But if you're a winner from the project We'll Make Along that I announced, please email me and I'll send you your prize. Anyway, take care, guys. Until I talk to you next time. Bye.